We like to spend every month talking about a specific theme or virtue to kind of highlight certain Bible stories. And if you remember, one day Jesus was with the disciples. He got asked a trick question. The Pharisees said, "What's the greatest commandment?" And Jesus said, "To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength." And in that context, Jesus kind of established a priority for our teaching. He kind of explained to us how all of the law really comes back to those three issues: loving God, loving yourself the right way, and loving others. That's why when we talk about a theme in any given month, it comes back to one of those issues. It has to do with the way Jesus grew up, because Jesus grew, remember, in wisdom, stature, favor with God and man. So we're going to ask the question, every month, which one of these issues are wisdom issues? Which one of these issues are kind of others or friendship issues? And which one of these issues really reflect the character of God? We actually think they all reflect the character of God, like the issue we're going to talk about today. It's the idea of patience, and all month long we're going to unpack what it means to be patient and reflect the character of God, not only in the way you make decisions, but also in the way you treat other people. We're going to define patience this month as waiting until later for what you want now. In other words, we're going to try to help children understand the value of delayed gratification, and over time to recognize that God, who's been very patient with them, is in the process of developing this characteristic in their life. As a leader, it may even be interesting as you watch them work on this specific character quality that you help them remember that they even need to be patient with themselves in developing patience. Patience is kind of like making ice cream. Think about the process involved in making ice cream and all of the effort that goes into the end result. I mean, you start with all of these ingredients, you know, the eggs, the milk, the vanilla. Someone went to the grocery store and they got the ice and the salt, and everything went in to this, you know, container. And that constant sound that you hear that is kind of frustrating is the work in progress to get the ice cream to the finish line so that you can eat it and enjoy it. It's that delayed gratification. But as you hear that sound constantly through the context of this video, I just want you to remember something is happening in the background, and you got to be patient before you can see the result. I mean, I don't know if he's as tired of turning the churn as we are of listening to the churn turn, but the truth is, at the end, we all believe it will be worth it because we'll get to taste the sweet vanilla cold ice cream. But you have to be patient, because it doesn't matter if you try to make things move faster. It's only going to be ready when it's ready. You see, we could open the container right now, but the problem would be it wouldn't be ready, and chances are we could mess it all up, and it would cost us going back to the grocery store, getting all the ingredients again. And trust me about this, if I were to jump in to start eating the ice cream now, I would miss out on something because it wouldn't taste nearly the way it's intended to taste. And I could mess it up for other people too. That's kind of what happens when you're impatient. When you're impatient, not only do you miss out on something, but sometimes you can cause others to miss out on something. So when we look at the Bible stories this month, one of the stories we're going to talk about is the story of Esau. Remember, he literally sacrificed his birthright because of his appetite and because he was impatient. We're going to go to the story of the golden calf, when the entire nation of Israel, instead of obeying God and waiting for Moses to come down off the mountain, ultimately got impatient, and they got ahead of God and did something that showed their impatience, and God ultimately judged an entire nation because of their impatience. And the third story is one of the most famous stories in the Bible. Remember the story about the Battle of Jericho? When they had to wait 6 days in the camp, then they had to march strategically around the walls instead of rushing right in and trying to win the battle. If they had rushed in, they would have lost everything. But because they followed God's instructions and because they waited, God blessed them. And in the last week of the month, we're going to go straight to something Solomon said about patience. And even though this is loud right now and messing up my concentration, I'm not going to get mad. You know why? Because Solomon talks about controlling your anger and being patient. So it's very important that we teach kids again this principle about God's character and how God, even though humanly we have this temptation and tendency to go somewhere we shouldn't, we're going to kind of allow God to give us the strength to be patient. So, is this like almost done? Ecclesiastes 7:8 says the end of a matter is better than its beginning. So it's better to be patient than proud. You know, kids are kind of like ice cream too. As leaders, I think one of the things that you kind of need to remember during this month when you're teaching kids about patience is how important it is for you to be patient with them as they develop patience. I think we're all going to learn a lot about patience this month.